National insurance in the UK is going up. What does it say for people globally? That's going to be the topic of today's video. So if you're an expat or a high net wealth individual, go over to infuriated.com to see how I can help you. Now on this topic, I'm going to talk about national insurance in the UK. Now basically national insurance is almost like a social tax for those people who aren't British, which theoretically is supposed to pay for certain social spending. Over time though, it's became just like another version of income tax. Now the UK government have announced that there's going to be an extra increase in national insurance contributions, and basically what it will mean is people will pay more, but in return for that the government are saying you're going to pay less in social care. So say for example somebody's got a disabled child or an old person who wants to go to an old people's home, or maybe they don't want to but basically the kids can't look after them. The cost at the moment can be incredible because people can have to sell their house sometimes to pay for the cost. Basically it's only free if you don't have almost any assets. So the government are trying to put a cap on basically how much people can pay in return for more taxes. However, what's interesting is certain wealthy people are not going to get a good deal from this. So it's done in a tiered way. So people who are say middle earners might pay more but get more back. People who are high earners though will just basically pay more, and they're not going to expect to get that much back. And I think this shows the road that we're going on. I mean, I've said on many of my videos, including on the Berlin one before, that we're going towards a world, at least in developed and Western countries, where maybe attitudes to the wealthy have changed. So even though the UK has a Conservative government in power, it looks like there's going to be tax increases, including and especially on the wealthy. But I think in the next few decades, when the bills for COVID are due, or public spending is too high, or debt is too high, in addition to an aging population, I think you're going to see more things like this, more tax increases, because at the end of the day, the current system in many countries is giving pensioners too much benefit relative to what they put in. Because when the welfare state was created in 1945, of course, most people didn't live that long. Many people, they died within, say, 5 years of retirement. And in addition to that, the benefits maybe weren't as good as now. And also now, not only are people living for longer, but as there's better medical care, people also will have to actually either pay for it themselves, or it's going to come from, the government. So all these things mean that more than likely, taxes are going to have to go up a lot unless government makes some fundamental reform, which is unlikely. Sooner or later, I think governments will have to move to a system where people's pensions are linked to an asset like the stock market, and it's not done just through pure taxation. On the healthcare side as well, sooner or later there'll probably have to be a debate, because you can't have a situation where an economy is growing by 1 or 2% and spending on healthcare is going up by 5% per year forever, because eventually if you do it on a compound interest calculator, it will eventually basically take over the whole of government spending. So for people though who are thinking what to do themselves, I do think if somebody's young or relatively young living in the UK, they should consider whether it's better not to invest in a private pension. They should consider whether it's not better to maybe at least consider emigrating. And they should also look at their budget and assume that taxes are going to go up in the future as well. How can I help you? In two ways. First of all, are you an expat, a high net wealth individual, or just somebody who lives in a part of the world where it's difficult to get access to quality investment solutions? In which case, go onto my website on infuriated.com and find out more. If you don't fit into any of those categories, then in which case there's a range of free material on my website, on this YouTube channel, and indeed on my Quora, where I get over 200 or have received over 231 million views in the last few years. And finally, if you want to actually read my thoughts in more detail, go onto Amazon and find my book on there.